Good morning. Since pandemic is going on, so we are going to start your video classes. So you are familiar that last year I was taking chemistry. This year also I will take the chemistry. But along with me, GP sir will also be there. He will also be taking the chemistry classes. So first chapter sir will take, and the second unit I will start. So today I will take the second chapter, the structure of atom. So the class 9th you studied that at the end of the 19th century, when it is proved that atom can be subdivided, and before that Dalton gave the atomic theory. In that one it was given that atom cannot be subdivided, means atom means it is indivisible. But that at the end of the 19th century, when Rutherford conducted alpha particle scattering experiment, and after that it is proved that atom can be subdivided, and atom is made up of three fundamental particles. You are familiar that electron, proton and neutron. So now the question is that how these three particles are arranged inside the atom. So the arrangement of these three particles inside the atom is called the structure of atom. So that is the name of the chapter. But in class 9 you will study that particle nature, and here you will study the wave nature. So that will be the new concept, quantum mechanics you will study here. So afterwards, today we will start the topic with the discovery of electron or cathode rays. You are familiar that who discovered electron. So electron was discovered by J.J. Thomson. But in this discovery of electron, three scientists worked for the discovery of electron. That William Crookes, then Julius Plummer, and J.J. Thomson. These three scientists basically involved in the discovery of electron, but the credit goes to J.J. Thomson. So first of all, we are going to study discharge tube experiment. In your mind, one question may be there: what is the discharge tube? Nowadays, in your home, you are using that Android TV. But if you go through the old one, in that one you are using that picture tube. That picture tube was this discharge tube. And if you strike the wall, it is very hard. So this discharge tube experiment conducted by three scientists. So when they maintain, this experiment is based on that at the normal condition, gases are non-conductor. At the normal condition, gases are non-conductor, but under very low pressure, gases will be conductor. So this discharge tube, this is the discharge tube. In this discharge tube, this negative plate, then this one is small positive plate, positive, negative. This vacuum pump is there. Vacuum pump is attached. The purpose is that to create very low pressure. So in discharge tube, first, when pressure is 1 atm, when the pressure is 1 atm and high voltage is applied. where pressure is 1 atm and high voltage is applied. No current flows. No current flows because gases are non-conductor. You must have seen that sometimes when you go on the roadside, electric wires are there. In electric wire, sparking is there. We are going in the surrounding, but we are not affected. What is the reason? The reason is that in air gases are there. Gases are non-conductor. But suppose that if you are in a water tub, and if naked wire falls in that one, you will get the electric shock. It means in that one impure water is there, it is conductor. So in the discharge tube, when the pressure is 1 atm and high voltage applied, no current flows because gases are non-conductor. The second condition, when pressure maintained 10 raised to power minus 2 atm and high voltage is applied. In that situation, current flows and flow is observed in a discharge tube. Flow is observed in discharge tube. It means that gases will become conductor. Further, the pressure is reduced some more when pressure is reduced. When the pressure is reduced to 10 raised to power minus 2 to 10 raised to power minus 3 mm of mercury and high voltage applied and high voltage is applied. So what is observed? It is observed that current flows, but the glow is disappeared. It is observed that current flows, but glow in discharge tube disappeared. So what these scientists observed in that one, when the pressure is further reduced, this one just you see very low pressure, then high voltage applied, current flows, but the glows in the discharge tube disappear. So it is observed that there is a glow, there is a greenish glow behind the anode. There is a greenish glow behind the anode. There is a greenish glow behind the anode here. Greenish glow. There is a greenish glow behind the anode. It seems, here you can write, it seems that these rays are coming from cathode. It seems that these rays are coming from cathode. It seems that these rays are coming from cathode. Just you see. Since it is appeared that these rays are coming from cathode and they created the greenish glow behind the anode. So these rays were called cathode rays. Means they thought that cathode rays are originated. They thought that cathode rays are originated from cathode. But in the origin of the cathode rays, we will study how these rays are produced in the coming topic. So these three scientists, when they applied the high voltage, here high voltage near about 5,000 to 10,000 volt is applied, very high voltage. When these three scientists applied high voltage under very low pressure, then it is observed that some invisible rays are coming from the cathode and behind the anode they created the greenish glow. And since it is appeared that rays are coming from the cathode, so that's why these rays were named as cathode rays. It seems that these rays are coming from cathode, so these rays are called cathode rays. So these rays were called cathode rays. So these rays were called cathode rays. So it is observed that there is a greenish glow behind the anode. It seems that these rays are coming from cathode. Hence these rays were called cathode rays. These rays were called cathode rays. So now up to here you have studied how the cathode rays are originated. So this origin we will study in the coming topic, but here in the discharge tube you have seen, this is the discharge tube, this negative plate is there and this plate is called cathode and this positive plate, that one is called anode. When the high voltage is applied, it is appeared that some invisible rays are coming from the cathode and these rays strike this glass wall of the tube and create a greenish glow. Since it is appeared that these rays are coming from the cathode, so that's why these rays were named as cathode rays. Now next one is properties of cathode rays or electrons. So next we are going to study that properties of cathode rays. Properties. Next one is properties of cathode rays. So next one is properties of cathode rays. Properties of cathode rays. So first point is given, cathode rays travel in straight line. Cathode rays travel in straight line. Straight line. If any metallic object is placed in the path of the cathode rays, behind the object shadow is formed. If any metallic object is placed in the path of cathode rays, behind the object a shadow is formed. A shadow is formed. Since the shadow is formed, its shows that cathode rays travel in straight line. So you have seen the discharge tube. This is the discharge tube. So negative plate, positive, negative. So if any object is placed, this is the object, then behind this one, that shadow. So behind the object, the shadow is formed. It shows that cathode rays travel in straight line. The second point, that cathode rays possess kinetic energy. Cathode rays possess kinetic energy, and they are made up of material particle. This is proof that if a light paddle wheel is placed, it is rotated. If a light paddle wheel is placed in the path of cathode rays, it starts rotating. So if a light paddle wheel is placed in the path of the cathode ray, it starts rotating. It shows that cathode rays possess kinetic energy and they are made up of material parts. So this diagram will come by this way. So if a light paddle wheel is there, it starts rotating. It shows that cathode rays possess kinetic energy and they are made up of material particles. Now the third point, that cathode rays are deflected in electric field. Third point, that cathode rays are deflected. Cathode rays are deflected in electric field. Cathode rays are deflected in electric field. It is observed that they are deflected towards the positive plane. When electric field is applied, it is observed that cathode rays are deflected towards positive plane. Cathode rays are deflected towards positive plane. It shows that cathode rays are made up of negatively charged particles. So don't you see this charge tube is there? This anode is there. This positive, negative. So when this electric field is applied, it is observed that they are deviated towards the positive plane. Since they are deviated towards the positive plane, it means they are negatively charged. Then fourth point, that cathode rays are deflected in magnetic field. Cathode rays are deflected in magnetic field. So when the magnetic field is applied, it is observed that they are deflected towards south pole. So suppose that this diagram, little bit modification will do. This is north, this is south. So it is observed that they are deflected towards the south pole. It means they are affected by electric and magnetic field both. So 4 point we have studied. Then next one is cathode rays creates the glow when they strike the glass wall of the discharge tube. Cathode rays created glow on the glass wall of the discharge tube when they strike. So when they strike on a glass tube, they created the glow. Then cathode rays ionize the gases through which they pass. Means if you pass the cathode rays through any gas, they will ionize the gas. Then next point, cathode rays produce X-rays. Cathode rays produce X-rays when they strike on heavy metals like tungsten, silver, copper, etc. So how they will produce the X-rays? This diagram you can see. So cathode rays produce X-rays when they strike on heavy metal. So some scattering will take place. So let us see. So this is the discharge tube. This one is cathode, and then how you can make this is the negative, this is the positive. So this is coming here. This is the cathode rays, and this is heavy metal. Heavy metal, then only the smelting will take place. So when they strike here, rays are produced. These rays are called X-rays. So by this way, the X-rays are produced. Then cathode rays produce heating effect. Cathode rays can penetrate through the aluminum foil. Very thin foil is there, they can penetrate. So one important point, that E by M value, the particles the value of E by M, the particles which are constituting the cathode rays, that does not depend on the material of the cathode and gas filled inside the discharge tube. It's a very important point. The value of E by M for the particles constituting the cathode rays. The value of E by M for the particles constituting the cathode rays does not depend on the material of cathode and nature of gas filled inside the discharge tube. It means whatever the material of the cathode you take, means any metal you can take, whatever the gas you fill, you can fill any gas. The value of E by M will be fixed. Okay? So how the value of E by M is calculated in the coming topic we will study. So J.J. Thomson concluded that these cathode rays are made up of negatively charged particles, and these negatively charged particles are called electrons. So J.J. Thomson concluded that cathode rays are made up of negatively charged particles. These particles are called electrons. So by this way, this electron was discovered. So this J.J. Thomson concluded that cathode rays are made up of negatively charged particles, and these negatively charged particles are called electrons. So by this way, this discovery of electron you have seen. So here I am going to stop this video. In the next video, I will give you that calculation of E by M value, mass of electron, and next whatever the topic is.